everyone. I know it's been a while since I have been here. I've been going through a lot of my personal life. Um, but I thought I'd make a video about how, I guess, like the dating pool is when you're heavily tattooed or considered heavily tattooed or I guess like tattooed at all. Whatever. Yes, I am in a jacuzzi bathtub and it's because my body hurts and that's just how this video is going to go. So, I wouldn't say it's like super easy dating when you're heavily tattooed. It's definitely something that I guess is kind of like fetishized, which I didn't realize until I became heavily tattooed. And it definitely doesn't help like weeding people out because a lot of people use like the same pickup lines to talk to you. They'll be like, "Hey, I like your tattoos," and stuff like that. And they get kind of weird about it, especially when you don't like want to talk about it, especially when you're busy at work. That's a whole other story though. But no, it does make it kind of difficult because, I dated one guy who, I wasn't really his type and he made sure to tell me that all the time. Even my friends, once me and this guy had split up, and I was at their house, they were like, something he really did that bothered me is he would always point out that you just weren't his type. You were never like the type of person he thought that he was going to date. And he did. He pointed that out all the time to coworkers, to my friends, to his friends. It was just something that was like talked about a lot. So I guess it makes you feel kind of like odd in a way, like kind of awkward. Like, what do you say to that at some point? And you'd be amazed how many like older men kind of like get really weird about it. Like the comments they say, the way they go about the things they say, and it's really weird. But also people expect you to be like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to say mean, but I guess kind of mean. Like older men anyway. Like, so I'm very, very nice to the point where it has gotten me absolutely nowhere in my life. But when I'm mean to men, they almost expect it and they think it's funny, whether I'm joking or not. Especially older men. I've come to find out love it when you were like semi-mean to them. They're like, ha ha ha, I love you so much. And I'm like, ha ha ha. Okay, that makes one of us. And I don't know, like going out on dates especially is like really odd because it brings a lot of attention. So if you're with someone that's not used to that attention and you are used to that attention, it can definitely cause conflict in the relationship for sure, especially if you're with a dude who's like, I don't want to say insecure because I don't think that's like the right wording. Just like, I don't know, just like not used to it. I'm not very good with words. I'm also kind of socially awkward even though I'm in my bathroom by myself. But people stare at you, male, female, doesn't matter. They're gonna do it when you go out on dates and stuff. And like I said, if you're not used to that, it can definitely cause conflict. Especially because like the dude could be like, oh, why are they staring at you? Do you know them? Blah, blah, blah. And 9 times out of 10, you don't. Or if you do, whatever. But like I didn't. So then I would always just get accused of like the dumbest shit. Let me paint you a picture, okay? I look how I look, but I sit at home with my dog if I'm not at work. That's basically it. I don't really do much else in my life. It's not that fun. But no, it's very disheartening, I guess, when you do date someone and they just constantly tell you and other people how you're like not their type. And especially when like people look at you and you're like heavily tattooed, one of the first things they love to say is, oh, I bet you love the pain. And I'm just like, oh, I don't really know how we've arrived to this conclusion just because a needle goes in and out of my skin however fast. That has always confused me. It doesn't mean I like pain. It just means that I like tattoos. So, you would be wrong. My life does not revolve around tattoo pain. My life revolves around pain that men cause me. So, go me! So it's definitely made like my dating life a little harder. Because I actually, believe it or not, I don't typically go for men that are like heavily tattooed. I I really like men in suits. I really like white collar men. I love me a man in a nice suit and a nice button down shirt. But no, it's definitely made it really, really difficult. Especially when it comes to like that attention thing. And then, if you have social media and like they're not used to someone that has social media, like the following I have right now on Instagram isn't as big as it used to be. I had a different account that got suspended that had almost 14,000 followers on it. So like it's like a mini following, but it was still like a following. And my boyfriend at the time just wasn't used to that. He wasn't used to like people messaging me, again, male or female, doesn't matter, whether it be just to say hi or whether it be sliding into the DMs, stuff like that. 9 times out of 10, honestly, I didn't look at my messages unless it was someone that I like was actually friends with, just because I was in a relationship and I made it known I was in that relationship, which is another thing when you date someone that's completely opposite from you and they just like, I guess you start to rub off on them a little bit in like certain ways, whether it be your style or whether them wanting to get like tattooed, stuff like that. And I always highly recommended against it because I'm like, don't change yourself to like think that like that's what I want. Because like if that's what I wanted, like I go get it. But that's not what I want. I want what I want. And that's not it. I don't want you to change to like fit whatever like narrative you think that I have toward like a dude or like a status or like look of a relationship. So I don't know. It's like it's made it kind of difficult, but at the same time, like it makes it kind of easy also because a lot of people want to talk to you and a lot of people are curious about like your looks or like why you did that to yourself or stuff like that. And especially when you do work in the public. But I'm just like, I'm really weird about men. They make me nervous. And so do pretty women, but they definitely make me nervous, especially when they're good looking. Because I just like I don't know what to do with myself and I have a fear of rejection, so like I just like don't even ask anybody out either. And online dating is really hard because that's where that like those like typical pickup lines come in where they're like, oh, like a tattoo, vegan, did it. Or there was like this like older guy who I thought was like normal and he was like one of my regulars at work. And like he would just tell me, hey, tell all the people I said hi. And I'd be like, okay, I told him you said hi. And then he'd be like, man, I wish I could see all those tattoos. And I just wouldn't respond because that is not the relationship that we have or that we're gonna have. So yeah. It's really odd. And also a lot of people think that like heavily tattooed men or women are more like promiscuous with themselves, which I mean, I guess like a lot, like 9 times out of 10, a lot of people go through that phase, but it doesn't mean that it lasts forever. So like, just because I look this way doesn't mean, I'm like out banging everything that moves. Again, I really just like to sit at my house and be with my dog and watch Law and Order SVU because I'm a big fat loser. So no, but the dating pool is really like big and also really, really small because I don't know. I have a really hard time figuring out if someone's genuine or not when it comes to, the conversation or the things that come out of their mouth or even just like a simple compliment. Because, some people are just mean to be mean and then other people are just horny. So, I mean, they just say whatever they say. I mean, we've all been there. So, yeah, I definitely wouldn't say that being heavily tattooed has made it easier to date. Like I'm coming to the conclusion as I make this video that it's actually just made it harder. And I don't mean like that like narrows down my options, which I mean for like certain things it definitely does, but I wouldn't say like drastically. Like I mean, I'm obviously not everybody's type, so I don't expect to be everybody's type. That's just like not how the world works. Or like somebody could think like, I'm an attractive person, but they're not attracted to me. That's like another thing that a lot of people don't think about. Like I can look at someone and be like, yeah, like they're attractive, but like just not for me. Because usually like my type is like men that are like 20 years older than me. And it's just because I like gray hair and old dudes. I don't get it. I don't know why. My family actually came to terms with that. I want to say maybe like 4 years ago now, almost 4 years ago now, that I just prefer older men. Lately, I've been trying to like get out there and like start dating again, but again, it's really, really difficult because people scare me, especially men. I'm not a feminist, so like don't think that. I just am terrified of like humankind. So also there's nothing wrong with being a feminist. I'm just not. It's just like not for me. Cause like I do love men and I do love to like look at them, but like sometimes I just don't want them to like talk to me. But like 9 times out of 10 I don't want them to talk to me. Does that make any sense? I know I'm not alone on this. There's no way. Or like sometimes like certain people just give you like what's it called, like the ick. And there was this one guy I went out with and we didn't go out that many times and we didn't like do anything. We only like kissed like once, but he was nice. I couldn't even tell you how long ago this was. It was a very long time ago. He was like nice, but it just like for certain things he did just gave me the ick. And I'm like, he's an attractive guy and he's gonna find someone someday, but I'm just not that someone. And I don't know. It's just hard. It's really hard because you put yourself out there, but at the same time you don't put yourself out there. And then sometimes you attract like the wrong kind of attention, which I understand. I'm literally in a jacuzzi tub and a bikini top. So like I know I'm not gonna attract all of like the right attention with this video, but definitely think about your dating options and what you find annoying before you're heavily tattooed. Or even if you're already heavily tattooed and I have brought things to light for you that you didn't want to think about, I'm sorry. I kind of suck sometimes. That's okay. I'm sorry, I had a really rough day and I'm like, I've been in and out of panic attacks for like a week. It's really cool. But I mean, it gets pretty lonely, especially when like, so I'm almost like 27. So at this point I'm closer to 30 than I am to 20. And I'm highly thinking about my future. Like there was my most recent relationship where like we talked about a whole future together and then things ended and it was like pretty devastating and it like wasn't reconcilable. So stuff like that. It's really hard, especially when you tell people like, listen, I definitely want to go on some dates and see where this goes, but like I'm not interested in like physical things until like I know how it is. So like sometimes they'll say, yeah, that's fine, and then you like don't hear from them, and then other times they're just like not fine with that, and that's okay. I'm just like not your person then. But I mean, it's cool. I mean, and I get where people get this like preconceived notion of people because I do be showing my butthole online sometimes because it's tattooed, so like that's pretty cool. But at the same time, that was a stupid thing to say. At the same time, it's just like I don't know. The world is a scary place, especially when it comes to putting your heart out there. So definitely take caution with it, I guess. Definitely go follow my Instagram. It's Miss Murder, MISSMERDER. Yeah. And then, I mean, you can find me on Facebook if you can. But my Facebook is like memes and stuff like that, especially Miata memes because they're my favorite. Yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll try to get back to them. Like, subscribe, and if you guys have any other like video ideas you'd like to hear from me as a heavily tattooed person in today's society, definitely let me know and I will see what I can do. I'm sweating because my bath water is boiling. So, yeah, bye.